Welcome to Flourish in 5. My name is Heather Lottinen, and every Friday I share a story, a lesson, or a quick idea with the goal of helping you gain a new perspective. If you could please subscribe to the podcast, I would really appreciate it. And if you need help in a particular area, maybe you're struggling to make a decision or you would just like to chat about a challenge that you're facing, I have a new option. You can jump on a Zoom call with me, one Zoom call. So there's no commitment. You can learn more at Flourish.Academy/RX. The RX is for prescription, so that I can help you move forward. Definitely check that out. Last weekend, I decided to impose a social media blackout upon myself because I started reading Digital Minimalism from Cal Newport. I'm a huge Cal Newport fan. I loved his book, Deep Work. So I highly recommend both of those books. And I just started the book. So this is quite funny because I think as the book goes on, he's going to explain some strategies or some approaches. But I was really inspired to take action this weekend because of one of the opening stories. He talks about how social media is designed to be addictive. Okay, we know that. If you've watched The Social Dilemma or if you've read any articles, they are engineering it that way. But he was quoting one of the Facebook whistleblowers, or maybe it was Google. It doesn't matter. In the book, he was talking about this. And he said that social media is like a slot machine. And that, in a slot machine, by the way, not a gambler. I've never once used a slot machine, but I think I understand the premise, which is you pull the lever and the wheels spin and maybe you win, but more often than not, you don't. And what he described, I'm looking for my phone. He said, every time you pick up this phone, what you're looking at is a slot machine. You're carrying a slot machine in your back pocket. And every time you pick it up and you scroll and you swipe, you're looking for something. And sometimes it can be good. Sometimes it's something encouraging, positive, uplifting, something you're actually searching for, but more often than not, it's negative. And from what I understand about gambling, the house always wins. That means that if this is a slot machine and you're spinning it, more often than not, you are going to see things that are negative, that are upsetting, and that trigger you. And for some reason, this story really got to me because, well, two reasons. One, I don't think I have an addictive personality. Yeah, I'm thinking, maybe I am addicted to social media, and I'm not a huge fan of gambling. So when he's equating it to gambling, I'm like, oh, I really need to consider what's going on here. And I was thinking about one particular influencer I follow on Instagram. She is so funny. She has the cutest baby you've ever seen. She pokes fun at like what she does for a job. And it's just great. I just love her. I really enjoy her stories on Instagram. But she's like a slot machine to me because every once in a while, or I guess recently, more often than not, she's been posting things about, puppies that were abused or abandoned or left in the Ukraine or caught in a house fire, or I don't know, just horrible things, right? Horrible things that you're like, I don't need to think about that. I don't want to think about that, nor do I need to be aware of that. So I had to unfollow her. And I thought to myself, well, if I wanted to check up on her, I could. But I wonder what else for me is like a slot machine. I'm spinning it. Every once in a while, there's something good. And there's some psychology behind reward behavior, like, the studies they've done with mice or rats or whatever, where they pull a lever, they give them a pellet, and that the brain is more wired to seek out rewards that are inconsistent. So it's not that every sixth time they get a pellet, it's like very random, and your brain loves that. So social media engineers and psychologists understand that. So it's literally like a slot machine. And I was like, well, I don't want to play a slot machine. So on Friday afternoon, I decided that I was going to, I always remove Facebook from my phone, so that's not an issue. And I haven't had email on my phone for many, many months. So that's not an issue. But I do have Instagram on my phone, and I didn't want to check email or Facebook on my computer. So my first step was finishing up my work and then shutting down my machine. So I work on an iMac and a MacBook Pro. I shut down the iMac, which I never do. Now I still technically could have access via my MacBook Pro, which is a little easier to get to, but I set it aside and I set some rules for myself. And the rules were, I was not going to check email at all until Monday morning. So all of this was going to happen Monday morning, Friday, about 4 p.m. through Monday morning. By the way, I'm recording this on Monday because I took some notes after I went back online. Okay. So no email, no Facebook, and no Instagram. I still allowed myself access to my phone. So this wasn't like a complete technology blackout. I talked with my friends in text message and on Voxer and such, but those aren't huge distractions for me. So I didn't worry about, I did not take my phone everywhere I went this weekend, however, and that was new for me. So the experiment was this. Number one, I wanted to capture how I felt and what this made possible for me. So Sunday afternoon, I sat down with a notebook and I wrote down a series of things that happened as a result of me not having social media. In a second, I'm going to share just a few, not all of them, because the list would get kind of long and boring. But then on Monday morning, when I decided I'm coming back online, I wanted to time how long it took me to get updated, reconnected, reply to emails, etc. So I will share that data as well because I'm a scientist. I like to explore this from a data perspective. And by the way, this is just my first experiment. I anticipate more experiments that are maybe structured a little bit differently, but I thought this would be fun to share because I think that you should try it. Okay, a couple of things that this made possible over the weekend. Well, number one, I got more done around the house, like more laundry, more cleaning, because there was like nothing else to do. I was not allowing myself to work on my business. So what else am I going to do? So I got more done around the house. I spent Saturday with my husband. He actually had to go purchase a new car, which is a story for another day. His died. However, we didn't have the radio on. I didn't have my phone. So we just had several great conversations and really connected. And there's just no replacement for that. I took a nap on Saturday, which was amazing. I spent more time talking to one of my friends over the weekend. I made a treat for said friend who has been ill recently. I would not have done that had I had my phone. And the reason I know that is because I made that treat late Saturday afternoon. And usually by that point, I was kind of like hanging out, waiting around till dinner. I would have normally not done that. Yesterday, I watched an episode of Murder, She Wrote with my mom. That is my mom's favorite show. And that is just good quality programming. Okay, go back and watch a few of those episodes. They are great. I would have never done that normally. So mom and I got to spend some time together. She loves that show. That was fantastic. I was able to read more. So I read more of Digital Minimalism, which really, truly has my head spinning. I watched some motivational videos that I like to watch on YouTube, which led me to purchase a course I'm going to talk about later. But anyway, as I'm looking at this list, and more importantly, I guess, is that I feel a little less anxious, like just a little more free, light. I'm not exactly sure how to describe it because I don't consider myself an anxious person, but I feel less anxious. And as I wrote this list, I thought to myself, actually wrote a note to myself at the bottom, more importantly, is that anything and everything that flows from this list or is a direct result of something I did on this list will be the ripple effect, the impact that not having technology has on my life. And that's fascinating to think of because how big could this be? Anyway, on Monday morning, that was this morning, again, as of this recording, I jumped into my email. I had 174 new messages. Do you want to guess how many of those messages actually required a reply? 3. 3 of those messages required a reply. 1 of them required an action, but not a reply. And I spent 15 minutes deleting everything and replying to those emails. 15 minutes in total. I wonder If I had been looking at email all weekend and clicking it and deleting it and just touching base with it, I wonder what the total time would have been. I guarantee you it would have been significantly more than 15 minutes. Then I got back on social media. So, and I largely run my business on social media. So it's an important part of my marketing. I got onto Facebook. There were, not only were there no new messages in my inbox, I looked at my notifications and there wasn't a single notification that, technically required my reply. There were things I wanted to reply to, but no one had tagged me or asked me a question in anything over the weekend. Fascinating. Like maybe I'm not as needed as I think. That's probably true. And then on Instagram and my personal account, I had one new message from a friend who sent me a recipe. So not a big deal. And on my business Instagram, which is more important to me, I had 3 messages, but all 3 of those were tags. So I didn't have zero messages that required any type of reply. In total, being off of social media and email all weekend, catching back up on Monday morning in total was 30 minutes. Again, I'm really curious as to how long I would have spent on email and social media in total over the weekend. I guarantee you it would be way, it would be in the hours. It wouldn't be in the minutes. I wonder what this could do for you or where it could lead. I'm going to highly recommend that you pick up Digital Minimalism from Cal Newport. I'm really loving it so far. And that you try some type of social media blackout for yourself, or some rules around when and how you're going to look at it. Cal's approach is pretty extreme, which I love. He suggests that, moderating your use of these is probably not the best approach, that for some people you need to go cold turkey and then add it back in. It reminds me of the elimination diet. If you want to find out what food is bothering you, you have to eliminate all of them and then slowly add them back in. I don't know if I can do that, but I did eliminate email. I removed it from my phone, like I said, months ago, and that was not difficult for me. Now, the hardest part, I think, is the mental game of, oh my gosh, what am I missing out on? Am I missing? Does somebody need to tell me something? Do they need my help with something? Or am I missing something that everybody else knows about? And the truth is, no, I didn't really miss out on anything. I felt better. Let me know in the comments what your thoughts are and what your approach to this is. I'll keep you updated, and I'll see you in the next episode.